Hey guys, my name is Chelsea and we're going to be doing a 60-minute all-level flow beginning on our backs. So as you're ready, coming onto your back, find a position that works well for you, extending your feet out in front of you, keeping bent knees with soles of the feet on the ground is going to provide you the most support. If you want some space in your hips and inner thighs, send the soles of the feet to touch, butterflying your knees open, finding that Supta Baddha Konasana shape, allowing your tailbone to be heavy. Beginning to settle in, notice the spaces of your body, the back side of your body making their connection to the earth. Notice them becoming a little bit heavier. Acknowledging the depth of your breath. See if you can send your inhales in a little bit longer through your nose to fill your belly, chest, and lungs. Taking deep audible exhales out the mouth for these first few rounds of in and out breaths. Beginning to establish this wave, matching your inhales and exhales in both depth and length. You can continue with these deep breaths, or you can fire up Ujjayi breaths, sending inhales through your nose and exhales out your nose. Working to find that focus. And with your breath long, your next inhale, send your fingertips overhead and your toes to the front of the room. Create a nice big morning stretch as you reach, lengthen. You can wiggle around your fingertips and toes, wrists and ankles. Inhale, extend, shrug your shoulders to your ears, and as you exhale, pull your knees tightly in towards your chest. Thighs to belly, knees to sternum, pressing low back into the mat, and gently find a lateral rock side to side. Massaging low spine, pull your knees in tighter to the chest to create a little bit more compression into the front side of the body and length into the back of the hips. Taking a deep breath, we're going to send the hands outside the hips and your heels up towards the sky, coming into this unsupported waterfall pose. Now you can take your hands off to the side of your hips or send them out to a T shape. But you're going to start to lift the tailbone slightly off and away from the mat by rolling your navel in towards your spine. So it's a slight little tilt of the pelvic floor and then lower it back down. So no momentum here as you draw your navel towards your spine. You lift your hips, find that scoop, and then lower down. The magic happens at the top of that scoop when you lift your tailbone, pressing low back into the earth. And lift and lower. Try not to use the momentum swinging your feet forward and backward. It's a controlled pelvic floor exercise. Let's take just about 2 more like this, and then we'll start to move our hips side to side. Good, take 1 more. Then lower your hips down. Hands are most likely going to have to go outside the hips. You're going to lift up your hips and send them to the right side of your mat. And then coming back through center, you drop and dip your hips over to the left. So we're just going to move side to side. Try to keep the legs still and as quiet as possible. As you begin to fire up the sides of your body, the obliques, sending your hips right to left. So that scoop lifts the tailbone. You send it over to the left and then opposite side of your mat. Try not to move your legs. Let's go for 3. For 2, coming back to center, making sure your sides are even. You're going to grasp behind that right leg and drop that left heel down to a hover. Now, if you've got the flexibility, feel free to walk your hands up the back side of that right leg. If you need a little less, lower that left heel down to the earth. Begin to bend your elbows, peeling your nose towards that right knee, curl and crunch it in. Find the stretch, the length into the back side of that right leg, guiding your toes back to the crown of the head. If you want to challenge, send both arms forward, reaching your fingertips towards your left toes and hold. If your hands are lifted and you're reaching, let's take a couple little pulses. Reaching your fingertips forward, you try to keep your legs nice and steady.
Continuing the stretch into the back of that right leg, the flexion of both feet, actively engaging both legs for 3, for 2. Hold at the top of that crunch. Take a deep breath. Lower left heel down, lower head, neck, and shoulders. Bend the right knee into the chest, supine twist. We guide right knee over to the left, sending right hand out, plug right shoulder down. Deep breaths into your low back space as you find the rotation of the spine. Inhale, take your gaze back up to center, pulling that right knee back in, and then both feet once again go up towards the sky. Now from here, you're going to lower that right heel down. We take your hands interlaced behind that left thigh. Maybe you walk it up the back of that leg, all the way up to your heel or ankle if that's possible. You can always lower that right heel down, but we're going to peel up head, neck, and shoulders. Draw your nose towards that left knee. Feel that hamstring. You're bending your elbows, guiding your toes back, pressing navel towards your spine. Now, if you did that on the first side, send both hands forward, framing that left thigh, reaching, we pulse. Reach fingertips forward, try to keep your legs nice and steady. Keep flexing your feet, actively engaging and drawing that left toe back and pressing that right heel forward. 3. Let's go for 2. Hold at the top, reach. 3, 2. Drop right heel down, bend left knee in, supine twist. We guide left knee over to the right, sending left hand out to the side, plug left shoulder down, rotate and breathe. Inhale, come back to center. Pull both knees into the chest, thighs to belly. We begin to rock and roll, front to back, the length of your spine. You are going to find a little bit of momentum rolling over your shins and ankles to come to all fours into your tabletop pose. Situate yourself in the center of your mat, stack all of your joints, spread your fingertips wide. Cat and cows, we're going to lower the belly, arch your spine, send gaze and heart forward. Exhale to round. Now begin to find your own movement here in cat and cow. You can stay with that traditional method of flexion and extension, or you can send your hips side to side if you wish to activate the outer hips. If your neck is tight, send your gaze over opposite shoulders. You can take a moment to stretch out your wrists and your forearms. Got just about a couple more rounds of breath here, moving with fluidity. And then back into your neutral spine. We send your right toes back and then the left, coming into a strong plank pose. You can always modify by dropping to your knees if you require more support for your low back. Shoulders down away from your ears. Shoulders, hips, and heels in line, zipping inner thighs together, drawing navel towards your spine. Now, as we start to walk our hands towards your toes, I don't want you to waddle your hips side to side. So think of a functional movement here. As you start to walk the heels of your hands towards your toes, you're going to find a forward fold to the back of your mat. You drop your heels, you take a bend in your knees and forward fold. Maybe even ragdoll it, grabbing opposite elbows or interlacing your hands behind your head. Shift weight further into the balls of the feet. You can pedal out your legs. Release your head. And then from here, drop your hands, inhale, halfway lift. Now we're not gonna waddle, we're gonna come back into that plank pose. So rise the balls of your feet, start to walk your hands forward nice and slow. Don't move your hips side to side as we come back into your plank. As we arrive in your plank, lower shoulders down away from your ears, holding for 3. Holding for 2. Now opposite thing, you start to walk your toes towards your wrists. Piking from your hips without moving, you take your toes behind the wrist towards the top of your mat. Once again, big bend in your knees, forward fold. We're going to place the left hand down, bending the left knee. Keep the right leg straight, reaching right arm high. We rotate to the right side of the room. If you want more, deeper bend in that left knee,
Gaze up to that right palm. Take an inhale. We switch it out. Right hand plants. Bend right knee. Straighten out the left. Reaching left fingertips up towards the sky. Taking a deep breath into that left IT band. Exhale, both hands down, straight legs, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, we forward fold. Root to rise, sweeping arms up towards the sky. At the top, right hand locates left wrist. Side body stretch as we lean over to the right. Coming back to center, left hand grabs for the right. We lean over to the left. Coming back to center, release your grip from your wrists and hinge and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, take it back into that plank pose. Lining up the torso, send your inhale forward. Exhale, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. We're gonna lower down onto the belly, or you stay in that low cobra. As you inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, take it back down. Hips to heels, child's pose. Gentle reminder, at any point during today's practice, you need a break, a place of rest. You can come back here and catch up to us if and when you're ready. Looking to the top of your mat, we come through all fours here. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Now backs of the legs are pretty open from the warm up, but take some time to pedal out your feet, rising high to your tippy toes. Press your heart and chest back towards your thighs. And taking a couple deep rounds of breath. As you inhale, we're gonna send that right heel high, three-legged downward facing dog. Exhale, right knee to your nose. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Hollow out your belly as you pull the knee in towards the sternum. Quietly stepping that right foot down, you lower left knee to the earth and inhale, sweep your arms high. If you need a modification, just keep your hands down, framing that right foot. We find a little bit of a back bend here, taking your elbows towards your kidneys, open up the heart and chest, feel that left psoas expand, gaze goes up towards the sky. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Exhale, plant your hands to frame the right foot. Straighten out right leg, Ardha Hanuman, half split. Flex right toes back to the crown of the head as you navigate the left hip forward. And exhale, forward fold belly over the right thigh. Continue to flex your toes back to the crown of the head. Deep breaths. Inhale, you're gonna gaze forward, bend back into that right knee. Tuck your left toe underneath. Lifting left knee. We're in this low lunge. We begin to take your hips back, straightening out that right leg. Now, if you have blocks, you can take them underneath your hands to elevate the earth to you as you bend and straighten. Another modification if you don't have blocks is to step that left foot in a bit. You want to take your hips back, fold. So the next time that you find your knees bent, you're going to look to the top of your mat, coming into a modified warrior seat. If you've got your blocks, you can take them with you. Take your hands underneath the shoulders and reach that left heel to the back of the room. So it's just like your warrior seat. It's not a standing split. You're still reaching crown of the head and chest forward, rotating left pinky toe down. Now I want you to really lift the chest, arch the back, send that left heel high with squared hips, and then as you exhale, navel into your spine, left knee, same tricep, gaze goes back to that right knee like a flamingo. Inhale, we send that left heel back, keeping your hips squared 2 more times. Pull left knee, same tricep, gaze goes to the right knee. Inhale, send it back. We're gonna squeeze it in 1 more time, left knee, same tricep. We take that left heel back and then cross the left ankle behind the right. Walk your hands back towards your toes, whether they're on blocks or on the ground, and begin to forward fold. If you're looking for more, walk your hands over to that right long edge of your mat, finding a twist and a deeper stretch into that left outer hip. Good. Inhale, we come back to center. I want you to keep your legs crossed, activate inner thighs, and sweep your arms up towards the sky. You're going to take that left hand, grabbing a hold of the right wrist, and lean over to the left and bump that right hip to the right side of the room. Keep squeezing and wrapping the legs. Inhale, coming back to center. Hinge and forward fold from your hips, leading with your heart. Once hands plant, halfway lift. Press into the right foot, stepping left foot back and then right. You come back into that plank pose. Optional chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. We send the left heel high, three-legged downward facing dog. Exhale, left knee pulls into your nose, shoulders over your wrists. Hollow out the belly, lift that left shin a little higher. Step left foot between your hands, drop right knee down. Inhale, untuck your back right toes and sweep your arms up towards the sky. Let's cactus, open your elbows towards your kidneys, putting that nice big open heart, that mini back bend as your gaze goes high. Inhale, reaching fingertips up. Exhale, send your hands down, half split, Ardha Hanuman. Straighten that left leg, pull right hip forward, and fold over that left leg, reaching crown of the head towards your left toes. Take a deep breath into the back side of that left leg. Lifting halfway, gaze beyond your left toes. Bending into that left knee, tuck right toes, lift back right knee. You're in that low lunge. We begin to shift it forward and backward. Remember, you can pop that right foot in. You can place blocks underneath your hands. Just start to feel the length, the space, the heat. And then you're going to bend into that left knee. We're going to come into that supported warrior C. Reach your hands out in front of you. Think box pose. Wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hip. Now rotate right pinky toe down, making sure your low back is nice and level. Now lift the right heel, lift the chest. Try to find a C shape from crown of the head to the back right heel. Exhale, right knee, right tricep, chin to chest. Inhale, we send that right heel back. Exhale, we curl and crunch it in. Inhale, send it back. One more time, right knee, right tricep, hollow out the belly before reaching that right heel to the back of the room. Cross right ankle behind the left, and then forward fold, maybe walking your hands in closer towards your toes. If you want more, walk your hands over to the left edge of your mat. Keeping deep breaths. Walk your hands back to center. You really have to squeeze inner thighs together. Press through all four corners of both feet and inhale, rise. Keeping your legs crossed, right hand grabs for that left wrist. Let's lean it over to the right and bump that left hip to the left. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, release and hinge, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Weight goes into that right foot, step right or left foot, step right foot back, then left. You're in that high plank pose, optional vinyasa, or back to that downward facing dog. So from that down dog, inhale, rise to your toes. Look forward and walk, step, float your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands, heart center. Inhale, reaching your arms high. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back. Optional vinyasa, back to your downward facing dog. Good, 3 rounds of breath. Send those heels to the back edge of your mat a little bit further. Inhale, rise to your toes. Looking forward, walk, step, float your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands, heart center. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Exhale, hinge as you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, feet go back. Optional vinyasa, back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, we send that right heel high. Exhale, knee to nose. Hollow out the belly, press through the palms of your hands, step right foot down, warrior A, Virabhadrasana 1. Rotate back left heel 45 degrees and rise up. Keeping everything squared to the front of the room. You navigate left hip forward, bending actively into that right knee, reaching tall through your fingertips. Now we're going to straighten out that right leg and take your elbows towards your kidneys, cactus, open the arms. Inhale, reaching fingertips high, rebend back into that right knee. 2 more times. Straighten out right leg, cactus elbows towards your low back. Inhale, we reach it up. 1 more time, straighten out right leg. And then as we inhale, we're going to send the arms high back into that warrior A. Exhale, we're going to flip the palms up by reaching your fingertips back, squeezing triceps together, lean forward, continue to press into the outer edge of that left foot. We're going to come up into a warrior C, unsupported. If you need supported, take your hands down. Press into that right foot, we reach that left heel back. Variations with your hands can include hands heart center, out to the side, or even out in front of you. Now the same thing you do with that support, rotate the left pinky toe down, level off your hips. Now we're going to press into this right foot, pull that left knee into the chest, one-legged Tadasana. Right hand, right hip, left hand, left knee. If you've got the flexibility, you can take that left hand to that left foot and extend it if you're ready. Roll the shoulder blades back. We're going to open up, take that left knee out to the side here. If you've got that left knee rather than your hand to your foot and you want a challenge, reach your right arm out to the side and maybe even reach your left without moving that left knee. You're still reaching that left knee towards the tricep for 3, 2. Left hand relocates the left knee. You come back to center. Both arms reach high and supported. Take it back into that warrior C. Reaching left heel back, palms go up, chest lifts. Inhale, bend into that right knee. We're going to land in a crescent lunge. You're going to step your left foot back and reaching arms up towards the sky. Now as you exhale, backstroke your hands to the back of the room, opening up the chest so that you can send your hands down to frame the right foot. Pyramid pose. You send your hips back, straighten that right leg. If you want to bump that left foot in and drop that heel, exhale, we're going to fold over the right leg. If you're still in the ball of that back left foot, you're coming with me. You're going to rise the tip of the back left foot, bending left knee to that right and flex your right toes, getting a little bit more here. 3, 2. Straighten out left leg. We're going to lift halfway, Prasarita. Just walk your hands to the left long edge of your mat. Toes in, heels out, and forward fold. So as you fold, taking your belly in the space between your thighs, you can take your hands to your ankles. You could bend your knees side to side. Just start to feel this wide-legged forward fold. Releasing your head. Soften your jaw. And then take your hands underneath your shoulders, lifting your torso halfway. Squeeze inner thighs together as if you're trying to crinkle the center of your mat. So your inner thighs are engaged, your hands come onto your hips, and we flat back, come to rise. Nice and slow, we pivot onto that right heel, sending right toes forward. So we're in this triangle-shaped leg. If you want a little bit less, you can step that left foot in. We're going to reach the arms out, coming into Trikonasana, hinge from this right hip. You reach that right arm as far forward as you can before lowering it down towards the shin, the ankle, a block. Left arm reaches up and or forward. If you want to challenge here, float that right hand forward or up towards the left palm. Really open up your chest, pressing the back of that left hand to the back of the room. Gaze is going to go forward. We're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana. Bend into that right knee. Take that right hand torso length out in front of you as you flex the back left foot, stacking hips and stacking shoulders. If you want a Chapasana full moon, feel free to bend that back left leg. If you want to take a balancing half moon, float the right hand away from the earth. Breathe. Bending right knee, we land that left foot back down. With a bend in the knee, we're in Warrior B. We're going to reverse it out here. Inhale, send that right hand back. We're going to windmill down to a runner's twist. You have to pivot to the ball of the left foot to protect the back left knee. As the left hand plants, right arm goes to the high. Now we open up the chest. I want you to keep the twist as you lower the left knee down to the ground. Untuck your left toe. Keep the left hand down and straighten out that right leg with the twist. You're coming into that twisted half split. You're really gonna feel that right IT band. A block can go underneath that left hand as you reach the back of that right palm to the left side of the room. Take an inhale. Exhale, right hand goes down. You were in that half split. Fold over that right leg. Gaze out beyond your right toes. Bend into that right knee. Now we're just gonna reach that right heel back into a half spinal balance. Plant your hands, walk them back underneath the shoulders if they've moved. Rotate that right hip down. Now as you inhale, you're gonna take the back right toes to the earth, pulling that left knee into the chest. Start to round. We send that left heel high. So we're in a three-legged downward facing dog. Let's get that second side. Pull the left knee into the chest. Stepping left foot down. As you inhale, you're gonna drop that back right heel, warrior A. Rise up. Pull the right hip forward, squaring off, deep bend in that left knee. Straighten out left leg, take elbows towards your kidneys, open up the heart. Back into that warrior A as you reach. Exhale, elbows to kidneys, straighten left leg. Inhale, back up. One more time, straighten. Inhale, you take it back up. We're gonna float the palms up, reaching them back, crown of the head forward. You're coming into that charging warrior A. Lift your belly away from that left thigh, and then we start to come into your warrior C. Pressing into that left foot, we reach that right heel back. Remember when we took that supported warrior C? Same thing here. Navigate that right hip down, opening up the chest, flex the back right foot. Inhale, we come up, pull that right knee into the chest. Left hand, left hip, right hand, right knee. Roll shoulder blade back. If you've got that right hand to that right foot, you can take that standing hand to foot option. We open it up over to the right Parshva. Left hand can reach out. If you want that challenge, reach that right hand 2. Feel that hip flexor, 3, 2. We come back to center. Right hand comes back to that right knee to guide it back through. Arms reach up, float it back, warrior C. Reach that right heel, hinging from your hips. Crescent lunge, bend into that left knee, land right toes back, sweeping arms high. As you inhale, backstroke, send your hands down, framing that left foot, pyramid pose, straighten out left leg. Now you can always stay on the ball of the right foot or drop that heel down, bumping it in if you need to. If you're on the ball of the foot, rise the very tip of that right toe, bend into your right knee and flex your left toes back to the crown of the head as you fold. Good, take an inhale. Straighten out that back right leg. Inhale, lift. Walk your hands over to the right long edge of your mat, cross Sarita. You have the option here of going upside down if that's in your practice. You can just find some movement to forward fold. I'm gonna turn on the air for you, Dustin. Good, taking a couple rounds of breath, maybe feet to the sky. If your feet are to the sky, begin to make your descent gently back down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, lifting halfway. We squeeze inner thighs together. Place your hands upon your hips and flat back, come to rise. We're going to pivot open into your triangle pose. So just pivot onto that left heel, sitting left toes forward. Your hips should already be open. If you need to shorten your stance, go for it. Reach your arms, hinge from that left hip. Reaching left fingertips forward as far as you can before lowering left hand down. Right arm goes up. Triangle Trikonasana. Challenges include floating that left hand forward or hovering it up so it's like you're holding a beach ball overhead. Breathing into that right side body. We're coming into that Ardha Chandrasana. You send your gaze about torso length in front of your left toe.
Bend into your left knee, left hand plants as you lift the back right foot, stacking hips and shoulders. Challenges, you can lift left hand, you could bend right knee, coming into Chapasana. Maybe you send your gaze up to your right fingertips if you're working on challenging your drishti today. Activate by flexing your back right foot. And then we're gonna land in a warrior B. Bend into that left knee. Plant right foot down, we reverse, left palm goes high. We're gonna windmill it down to your runner's twist. Right hand plants, but it's important that you pivot onto the ball of the back right foot. Left arm then goes high. Feel the rotation, pull that left knee in towards the right tricep and then drop the right knee down and untuck your right toes. Now with that right hand planted, straighten out that left leg to the best of your ability. You can slide that right hand in if you need to, but flex your left toes back towards your right ear, maintaining twist, deep breaths. Left hand goes down and you fold over that left leg for a breath. You're gonna inhale, look forward, bend into that left knee. Try without scraping to send that left heel back for a half spinal balance. Rotate left pinky toes down. And then tuck right toe underneath. Or no, take your left toes, tuck them underneath, pull that right knee into the chest. Taking an inhale, we're gonna step that right foot back to meet the left, coming into a turbo dog. Bend your knees and press your heart and chest towards the thighs. Drop your head down between the gate of the biceps. Inhale, look forward. We're gonna walk, step, or float your feet to the top of your mat. Big toes touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend deeply into your knees. Option here for a crow pose if you're craving an arm balance. You could stay in chair, you could come into a forward fold, or you could plant your hands down, rising to the tips of your toes. Send knees to triceps, lean it forward. Maybe you start to float one foot up and then the other. Remember, option to stay in chair, option to find a forward fold. Nobody is floating back. We're gonna stay at the top of our mat before we move into our next standing series. So if you're in crow pose, whenever you're ready, you take your foot down. Everyone finds a forward fold. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Take your hands to the earth. Option to wrap your peace fingers around big toes or find gorilla by sliding your hands underneath your feet. If you took that arm balance, go ahead and slide the hands underneath, letting your toes massage your wrists. Good, take a couple rounds of breath. Gently release your hands from your feet, heel toe your toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we root to rise, sweeping arms up towards the sky. Exhale, seal hands in heart center. Weight goes into that right foot. We pull that left knee back in. Now, maybe you weren't ready that first time to take your left hand to that left foot. Maybe you can try this time. Right hand, right hip, and you start to extend that left foot forward. Some of you might be able to grasp that left foot with both hands and then fold your nose towards that left knee if you're feeling ready. Wherever you're at, we're gonna hold here. 2. Keep that left knee bent or that left leg straight as you reach your arms up towards the sky. Floating it back, warrior C, you reach that left heel back, hinging from your hips, palms press up to the sky, opening up the chest and shoulders. Crescent lunge, bend into that right knee, land your left toes down, sweeping arms up towards the sky. Exhale, warrior B, drop that left heel down, find that nice wide stance, lowering shoulders away from your ears. Flip both palms up, straighten out that right leg, reaching arms high. Exhale, warrior B, a little bit deeper. 2 more times, let's take it up. And let's exhale, bend. 1 more time, inhale, send it up. We're gonna drop the left hand back, reverse your triangle, and then coming back into that second Trikonasana, coming up through center, maybe hinging that left hip in. Hinge from your hips, right hand goes forward, right hand lands, left arm high. Now we are going to go again into a half moon, but I want you to maybe take a challenge here. Maybe floating that right hand if you'd like. Bend into that right knee. Send that right hand out in front of you and then lift the back left foot. Try to find a challenge, whether that just be really light into that right hand, or maybe you're trying to lift the chest a little bit more. 3. Last 2. Bending into that right knee, you land that left foot back down. Let's reverse it once again. Windmill your hands down, frame the right foot. Now pivot onto the ball of the left, drop left knee down, straighten out right. You're in that half split. Now half split might be where you're at today. If you want to come into that full split, if you feel ready, you slide that right foot forward. If you're using blocks, you can take blocks underneath your hands or blocks underneath that right hamstring. You have the option of staying in that half split. If you want something besides half split, we've done that a couple times, you could always drop your hips towards your heels and take a forward fold like so. A little version of your half virasana. I'll give you some time to play. Got 3. 2. That right leg is straight. Bend it back. If you're back on that left heel, you're coming back into the low lunge. Tuck your left toe underneath. Lift the left knee. Standing split at the top of your mat. We send that left foot high, folding over the right leg. Now my handstand hoppers, you might want to take some time to find some flight. If you want to take a couple hop kicks, if you want to find a balancing standing split, wrap that right hand behind the right shin or ankle, maybe following it with the left. Yes. Nice, Justin. Handstand hops, take as long as you like, find a wall, play as you need. But we're going to drop that left foot down when you're ready, coming into a forward fold to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Press into your feet, we root to rise, sweeping arms up towards the sky. Hands, heart center. We revisit that second side, that left side. Plant down through that left foot. Pull that right knee up into your chest. Left hand, left thigh, or left hip. You can take that right hand to the knee, or you can extend it out in front of you. Some of you who took both hands to that right foot, doing the same thing here, bending your elbows, trying to sandwich your nose towards that right knee. Whew. Or you can keep that right leg straight and just a standing hand to foot or hand to knee. 2. Release your hand from the knee or from the foot. Hold unsupported. Now we take it back, warrior seat. You reach that right heel, opening up the chest. Take a deep breath. Crescent lunge. Land your right toes back. Bending into that left knee. We sweep arms high with control. Exhale, open up, warrior B. Widen your stance if you need to. Lower shoulders, flip both palms. Straighten out your left leg. Reach your arms high, gaze up. Exhale, warrior B. 2 more times. We inhale, send it up. We exhale, bend deeper. 1 more time, send it up. Keep the left leg straight. Dropping right hand down, reverse your Trikonasana triangle pose. Inhale, coming through center, moving into that triangle shape. Hinge from that left hip. Reach the left hand forward, lower it down. You still have the same options for challenge if you want to float both hands rather than take the left hand down. Reaching up through the right palm. Now we're going to come into that hovered Ardha Hanuman. Look in front of your left toes. Maybe free that left hand, bend into that left knee. Try to straighten out that left leg as you reach that right heel back. Lifting up through the right fingertips, flex your right toes. Try to find that balance with a steady gaze, a steady dristi. Good. Now bend into that left knee. We reverse through a warrior B, flip the left palm high. Exhale, windmill your hands, framing that left foot. Pivot to the ball of the right toes.
Drop right knee down, straighten out left leg. Half split, we're gonna go through those same options. If you've got blocks, you can take a supported full Hanuman, which is a full split. You can stay here, you can drop your hips back towards that right heel and then fold. Wherever you go, we're gonna stay for a few rounds of breath. Hamstrings nice and open. Breath remains deep and steady. Three. 2. You bend back into that left knee. Tuck your right toes underneath. Lift right knee up. Standing split without momentum. You straighten out that left leg. You reach your right toes high. If you took handstand hops, do so with this leg high. Or we're going to take that balancing standing split. Left hand wraps behind that left calf, followed by the right. And then maybe fold it in a little bit deeper. Stepping right foot down when you're ready. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Chair pose, bend into your knees. We're gonna flip the palms up, reaching them back. Pop to the balls of your feet. Squeezing ankle bones together. We're gonna come into your diver's pose. Straighten out your legs, hinge from your hips, squeezing triceps together. Squeezing ankle bones together, lift a little bit higher to your toes, reaching crown of the head forward. Inhale. Exhale, drop heels, drop hands, forward fold and let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, feet go back, optional vinyasa. Back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, your right heel high. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Coming into half pigeon pose, sliding that right knee behind the right wrist, straighten out back left leg. If this does not work for knees or hips, come onto your back and take a figure 4 instead. Squaring it off, send an inhale to the crown of the head. Exhale, you walk your hands forward, folding over the right bent leg. Roll shoulder blades down. If you're feeling a lot of pulling into that right knee, try taking that right heel closer to the left hip. That might take a little bit of pressure out of that knee joint. If you need more work to take that right shin more parallel to the top edge of your mat. Begin to walk your hands up underneath your shoulders. We're going to roll onto that right hip and swing that left leg forward for a Janu Shirshasana. Left leg is straight. Sole of the right foot hugs inner left thigh. Flex left toes back. Inhale, sweeping your arms up. Exhale, hinge from your hips and fold. Make sure that you're not rotating to the right. You want to square shoulders and hips off to the front of the room. And then fold your belly over the thigh space.
Walk your hands back towards your hips, shoulders over the hips.
Just slide that right heel forward to meet the left. Now we're going to take our peace fingers and wrap them around your big toes. So you can hinge from your hips, locate them. You're probably going to have to bend your knees a little bit maybe to get there. And then you start to lean back, take your feet up, and maybe you can extend them. Now, if you cannot reach for your toes, you can always grab for your ankles or behind the legs, anywhere that you can find. Roll shoulder blades back, sitting up nice and tall. Find the control there on the tops of your sits bones, the length in the back of the legs, shoulders come back. You guide the heart and chest towards the knees. 3, 2. Try releasing your hands from your feet and hold with those straight legs. Full boat Navasana for 3, 2. Right ankle crosses over the left. You roll forward through your shins, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Lower it down, half pigeon pose. Square off your hips before walking your hands forward. Find the softness into the front of that right hip flexor. Start now to walk your hands up underneath your shoulders. Roll onto that left hip. We swing the right leg forward. Right leg goes straight. Ankle, knee, and hip all stay in line. Sole of the left foot hugs into right thigh. Flex right toes back. Inhale, reach your arms high. Exhale, hinge into that Janu Shirshasana. Taking your forehead towards your shins. Square everything off. Plug right femur bone back into the hip socket as if you were shortening that right leg, and then fold a little bit deeper. Walk your hands back towards your hips. So that left knee is bent, you're gonna match it with that right foot. This is just your Baddha Konasana shape, also known as butterfly. So playing upon what we just did, you're gonna take your hands and grab the knife edges of your feet. Sit up nice and tall. You start to lean back on your sits bones so the outer edges of your feet can begin to float. And then you're pulling the soles of the feet towards your body and displaying the knees out in front of you. You can stay here, but some of you might want to take a wide-legged straddle, reaching your feet out, rolling shoulder blades back, take your belly in that space between your thighs. Hamstrings are nice and open. You can always stay here in this Baddha Konasana shape, however. Maybe bending your elbows, drawing your toes back. 3, 2. We're going to lower the feet down. Hinge from your hips. Crown of the head goes forward. Inhale, coming back up, send both feet forward. You're going to take your hands back behind you. We're coming into a reverse plow. Fingertips face forward, press into your heels. Start to lift your hips up, maybe dropping your head back, and then lift the pubic bone up towards the sky. Squeeze your glutes. Take an inhale. Exhale, drop your hips, sweep your arms high, hinge, Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Let's begin to zombie lower back onto your back. As you drop your hands towards your heels, navel to your spine, you're just going to roll down one vertebrae at a time. Nice and slow. Reach your arms up overhead. Find a nice, big, generous stretch into the front sides of your body. And then pull your knees in, just pull your knees into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Set your feet down, hands outside of your hips. Bridge pose. Press into all four corners of both feet. Lift hips up towards the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale. Gently lower it down one vertebrae at a time. Tailbone hits the ground. And I'm going to present to you a challenge in this bridge poses using the backs of our legs as well. Pressing into your feet, lift your hips up. Now you may need to take that left foot closer into center so that you can reach your right toes up towards the sky. Keep the lift of your hips, dip the hip down an inch, and reach your right toes high. Dip it down an inch, lift the pelvis up. Dip it an inch, and lift and hold for 3, for 2, bend right foot down, plant right foot to the earth. Let's just go right into that second side. Left leg goes high. We dip the hip, and then we lift the toes. Dip the hip, lift the toes. One more time, dip, lift and squeeze. Bend left knee, lower hips. Ooh, that was a lot on the quads. So let's just start to walk your feet wide and windshield wipe them right to left. Neither of us stood a chance. All right, drop your knees over to the right. Right ankle crosses on top of left thigh. Let's release the quads by allowing that right ankle to provide traction for that left side piriformis. Gaze goes over the left fingertips. Slide right ankle off the left thigh, come back to center. As you drop both knees now over to the left, gaze goes to the right. Left ankle crosses on top of the right, using it as traction. Fall further to the left side of your mat. Let right shoulder and arm down. Gaze up. Slide left ankle off of right thigh, come to center. Now your hands are going to go beside your hips and feet go up towards the sky, waterfall pose. Taking you into a plow pose, only if you have a healthy neck. If not, you're staying here. Your hands come to your low back and you guide your toes up and overhead to the hardwood floor behind you. Now don't look side to side and keep some space between your chin and the chest, never constricting your breath. Some of you might like to find this plow pose just staying here. If you want to use it as a way to get into your shoulder stand, your hands are supporting your low back. You can lift one foot up to the sky and then the second. Or staying in plow, working the back sides of the body. Carefully start to lower down when you're ready. Taking as much time you need. Maybe your feet went up a wall. Bend your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Happy baby, grabbing inner outer edges of your feet. Knees towards your underarms, ankles stack over your heels. You can extend one leg out to the side and then the other like a ninja. Reach both toes with straight legs back behind you, outside your shoulders. Anything else that I have not offered that you wish to move into, you can begin to find any final positions before coming into Shavasana. If you feel ready, just begin to lay flat, lay still, arms out beside you, legs are heavy. Eyes begin to close. Gently begin to move around fingertips and toes, wrists and ankles, elbows and knees. Inhale, reach your arms up, stretch long. Pull knees to chest, thighs to belly, hug it in. Roll to your favorite side, fetal position, spending as long as you like here. Using it as a way to come up into your seated position when you're ready. Keeping eyes closed, trust your instincts as you come up, crossing ankles and shins, and place your hands upon your thighs. Reaching tall through the crown of the head. Begin to bend your elbows, seal hands towards heart center. Allow your thumbs to fall to your sternum. Sealing in all of this beautiful energy into your heart space. Your inhale, send your thumbs to third eye center so that we can take a moment to honor this place of wisdom, this place of intuition. Together, we bow and we say, Namaste.